Sunday the 9th of June, we think. Here's a quick update of how we're going with the allotment. We thought we'd do just a quick film just showing you how things are growing while the sun's out, because sunny days have been few and far between in Wales recently. So it's just a quick tour to show you where we're up to. Nearly everything's planted up so far. This is the last patch that needs some work. We've got 2 squash in already. In front of those we're going to put in 18 sweet corn, and then we'll surround it with the rest of the squash that we've got growing on at home. Crown Prince variety. The bottle bed seems to be doing okay. It seems to be sprouting. The basil that we've planted into the bottles all seems to be surviving okay. Leeks are doing okay. Our outdoor tomato experiment seems to be coming on okay. Just been keeping up with all the little jobs of taking out the suckers. Fortunately they haven't needed watering because of all the rain we've been getting in Wales recently. The ones in the grow bags, they seem to be catching up with the ones in the pots now, so that's all good. In the main no-dig bed, most of the radishes are sort of going to seed now, so we'll probably pull them up. The lettuces are growing quite well. Chard's all picking up now. Oh, that's the beetroot. This is the chard. Chard's all doing fine. The Bellotti beans, we've managed to, I think we've got a bean at every station. I think we lost one to slugs, it looks like. A couple of others have been nibbled, but most of them seem to have survived. I'm assuming it was slugs because the marigolds that we planted nearby have been decimated as well, so we've started putting in some slug pubs. Radish, the new lot of radish is shot up, and the spinach has shot up. Funnily enough, I must have used some, I must have put the watering bottle over a seed, because we've actually got radish growing inside some of our watering bottle, which is rather odd, but they seem to be having a good time in there. Planted some dwarf beans, they've all taken really well, and this is the second lot of chard, not doing quite as well as the ones at the other end, but nothing's died yet. The courgette bed has gone bonkers. All the courgettes have taken, and we've got a few growing already. So that's the largest one in there, but we've got several others coming. There's another one this end starting to come. But it looks as if all the plants are getting flowers on them. Oh, and there's another one hidden behind there. So it looks as if I'm going to be looking for lots of courgette recipes. Now, rhubarb, that did struggle a bit when we first put it in. Seems to have really picked up now. Lots of new leaves growing on that, so I think we've turned that round. That's quite good. Strawberry, we've had a few strawberries. Well, I say we've had a few strawberries. The slugs have had quite a few strawberries, but at least they grew something, and quite a few flowered. These were transplants from the garden, so we weren't expecting anything to happen to them this year, so the fact that anything's come at all is quite promising. Our spare brassicas are hiding under this other hoop. They're doing fine. The ones we've left out to fend for themselves, they're still managing to cope. I found a couple of packets of old peas and old beans that were about 2 years out of date, so we had a spare bit of ground, so we threw them in, and this happened. We just covered them up with a bit of a tatty fleece just to keep the birds off them, but yeah, they've gone a bit bonkers, so they weren't that out of date. We've installed the smallest pond in the world with an old plastic container. We used to bring our tools down, got very brittle in the sun and started to crack around the edges, so we've cut it down to size, filled it with water, bought one of the spare reeds that we've got from our own wildlife pond at home, moved that down here. We might even bring some tadpoles down that are living in it just to see if we can get it off to a start. We can breed our own little slug catchers, which would be very handy. We've got 2 new additions to the berries. That's the tayberry that's been in for a while. We got a Japanese wineberry from Morrison's yesterday for 70p. Never heard of them before, so we got that. Put that in, and then we've bought another friend for our thornless blackberry, so we've got 2 of those now. The other one's not looking so scorched, so maybe all this wet weather's sorted him out. Today we've built a very quick netting structure for all the spare brassicas that we had living in buckets and tubs and pots, and that were really wanting to get planted into the ground, which is why I dug over this ground that we were going to leave this year, but I gave it a quick dig over. We've made a quick hoop structure, and we had plenty of spare netting, so we've netted them off. I know there's holes where the scaffold netting allows you to thread wire through. We might cover that with gaffer tape, or I might just leave it open, or if I'm keen I might sew it up with some fishing wire, but at least there's some net on it. More than anything else, it helps protect it from the wind, which seems to have stood our main brassica beds in good stead, because a lot of people have had their brassicas knocked over by the high winds we've had recently. In the carrot and parsnip bed, or as it's now known, the carrot bed, we've probably got half a dozen carrots. It's very disappointing. Parsnips haven't made any sign of turning up whatsoever, so we thinned out the purple sprouting broccoli and have put it into where the parsnips were. Put plastic bottles over the top just to keep the birds off until they get a little bit bigger, and again to protect them from the wind. We've got the odd carrot here and there, but nothing that's going to keep us going. Luckily we've got a few at home growing in buckets. The leeks are doing well. On the right hand side are the winter leeks, left hand side are the summer leeks. They seem to be coping quite well. All the beans are starting to grow up towards their wigwams now. We've got a few swede showing. We have a suspicion that we might have weeded a lot of our swede because we didn't realise they came up so quickly. So I think we got overzealous on the weeding, so we've got a very sparse covering at the moment, so we might grow some of these on at home and plant them in the gaps. These beans are just about reaching the trellis part, so those are the ones we had to replant after we lost the first crop due to frost. Scraggly broad beans. I've actually got beans growing on them. Don't know if you can make any of that out, but we have we do have beans forming now, so that's quite good. We thought they'd been bashed by the frost too much, but we do have the first sign of beans. The main crop potatoes are looking a bit sad and sorry for themselves. The garlic isn't looking too clever. It's all gone a bit yellow. Same as the onions. We're not too sure what's happened to this bed really. It's the first bed that we planted anything into, so it hadn't had any preparation or any muck or compost added to it. We just got some potatoes and some onion sets and shoved them in the ground. So it's not surprising that they haven't done very well. We have got the old flower on our first early potatoes, but I'm not expecting too much of those. They all got knocked back by the frost. Or the brassica cage has gone absolutely bonkers. Just full of green brassica leaves. The other bed that was doing a little bit better than this one at one stage, where the turnips are growing, I think got held back by the turnips. But this is doing quite, since we're taking the turnips out, I think this is starting to catch up with the other bed now. But yeah, I think scaffold netting has sort of saved the day, because everybody else's brassicas have been blown over. So I think the little bit of shelter that the netting provides them has worked quite well for us. Anyway, that's all for a quick update for today. I don't know if you can see this if I try and pan round, but it looks as if we've got some proper Welsh summer weather due to arrive any minute. So I'm going to have a quick run round with my hedge trimmer, or not hedge trimmer, the grass trimmer, just to try and keep the grass down a little bit. And then I'll try and get home for a cup of tea and a bit of cake before the rain arrives. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you again next time.